I grew up around artists, so I kind of like saw professional artists like in action all the time, and a lot of them were like close family friends and like became kind of mentors to me. And so I think that it was just kind of like I just always knew I was going to be moving in that direction. Sometimes there's like in the distance it might look like there's a wildfire, you know, and I was thinking about all the wildfires in Canada and how it like changed the way that the light quality and the air quality, like everything turned out yellow, but then the sunsets were like ridiculously beautiful. And so I was like thinking about how as an island dweller there might be a wildfire off in the distance that we're just looking at and we're like, oh, that's so pretty. But like really it's speaking more to climate change than it is to like the pleasurable aesthetics of things. The interesting thing about the Thomas Moran painting is that it's actually painted from the viewpoint of standing on the island looking out at the boat. Why choose that point of view? So like as a viewer, like we are essentially like island dwellers, right? We're the lotus eaters on the island looking out at the responsibility ahead of us in the distance. And I got really into thinking about that idea of like, what if, you know, like here we are like in this kind of like lush garden, got distracted from all of the realities and, you know, the responsibilities in front of me. And so the paintings are kind of like in this funny little way, like kind of riffing on that metaphor. It's hard to get pigeonholed into like one area. Like when I was doing clothing, I was always like, oh, you're the clothing person. But now we can't say that because there's like how many people are doing something within that like realm of creativity. And so I didn't want to also get sort of like stuck in being like, oh, Wylie is a painter. I call myself a project-based artist because it's like, I like didn't start off as a painter. So like I was doing clothing design, then I got into like textile installation, doing these kind of like large scale textile pieces. Then I got into like designing, I called them like sculptural wearable art, but it was like wearable art, dresses, did a whole project on that, had 2 kids in the process. And then I got into like drawing, ink painting, and then painting. So that's what I'm primarily doing now. But I shouldn't say that because I also do like weird film and sound stuff too. I was at Will Gebhardt's opening and Patricia Trafton and I were talking about the space and she was like, I brokered this deal with Foam for Will, like let's get you here. Your work would look amazing in this space. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. She goes, and it's time that you do a label. I got this email and it was like everybody was on board. We like moved forward and at first they were like, we're gonna do this American wheat ale and we have a couple of ideas, but they were describing the beer to me and they're like, it's like light and summery and like fresh, and they're like tossing around these ideas of names, and the first one they tossed out that they had liked was Transmitting Light. And I was like, oh, I really like that. That sounds really awesome. I feel like my paintings right now are reflecting light in a similar way. Like I'm trying to capture like a portal of light or like move through a space of light. And then like I got the green light. They're like, we're gonna move forward with Transmitting Light. Like, let's do this.